Yo, what's good? Welcome to Observing the Process. Before we start, I'm hoping you can help me out by supporting the show. You can rate and review it on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. You can share it with your friends, you can blog about it, or discuss it on your own podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to my channel and like this video, or you can support it directly. You can do this by going to my website. I'll leave a link in the description. Thank you for supporting the show. Listeners like you make it possible. Today on the show, I had Juhani Salo. Juhani is a Finnish skater who has been in and out of China for the past 10 years. We talk about growing up in Finland and how Juhani actually learned to shape his own boards as a kid because they were so expensive to buy. He shares a story about how he came to China, and we also talk about cars. He's working on rebuilding a Ferrari back in Finland. And after all this time, he's moving back. We're going to miss you, bud. Please give it up for Juhani Salo.
In the land of China, people hardly got nothing at all.
No possessions?
And in China, they never go to church.
No religion too?
Or do magic.
Well, it's easy if you try, Dick.
2, 1. Okay, we're live. Juhani, how are you doing? Thanks for coming over.
I'm good.
Awesome. So you were skating Binjang today, right?
No, we were supposed to skate Binjiang, but then my knee was kind of hurt from like 2 days ago. So we were kind of planning to go to the concrete skate park, but then it was closed.
Yeah.
So ended up going to Science and Technology for an easy session and just like try out my knee if I can skate and have a chill session over there.
Right. Yeah, I was on my way to the concrete park and I got there and they were closed up. Such a shame, man.
Yeah, we need bolt cutters, I think.
Need to get some bolt cutters. Yeah, but that whole story about that skate park is so strange. Like, some days they're open, some days they're not. I don't know what they're trying to do over there.
Yeah, and officially it's not open at all. So
definitely not open
never
at all.
know.
Yeah. Oh man, I saw. Yeah, Lucas. Did his board go in the water?
Twice.
Twice. Dude, that dude has some bad luck with the water. Dude. Jeez.
Yeah, it happens at that spot.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for people who don't know, Science and Tech is this spot that has like a big plot of water just sitting right next to this pyramid section or hip section rather. And yeah, did you get anything today? What were you going after? Or, wait, how was your knee? Knee okay? Or
all right, a little bit sore. Can't do like proper frontside flips or hard flips, but anyway, good enough to just play around a bit and have a good sweat, good session. Let's see tomorrow. Yeah,
that's I like what you said. Just have fun. I mean, for me today, I just bought a new complete setup, and I got for the first time like somewhat of a directional board. Like it has like a fat tail and like a shaped nose. And I put rails on the side, like just to like, be able to like board slide anything. And I'm just kind of excited to try and have more fun with skating rather than, I used to get so caught up in making sure I can land all my tricks that I can always do. And like you build this list and then after a while you want to make sure you keep it forever. But now I'm kind of at the stage where I just want to like have fun. I went to the park, the indoor one today, and was like rolling around the mini ramp. Yeah, man. What do you feel about that? Like, do you get stressed out if you start to lose tricks or?
It's kind of like you would want to keep the tricks forever, but then again, it's not like I'm like 20 anymore and skating 6 hours every day. So it's kind of natural to kind of lose them a little bit or get less comfortable on certain tricks. And it's all just matter of just having fun, having a good time on the board and doing something that still makes you satisfied about skateboarding.
Definitely. I notice, to me, you're one of the most positive dudes when we're out skating. You never seem bummed out. You're always hyped, just skating wherever. I actually really admire that. I think a lot of people can get kind of negative, and it makes the session not as much fun. But you seem to always stay positive. And yeah, for people who don't know, give a little bit of a background about yourself, because you're in your 40s, like, and you're from Finland. Tell people about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm 40 years old, originally from Rauma, Finland, a small town on the west coast of about 30,000 people.
Wow, small.
And I grew up there. And just normal childhood, just like riding bikes and playing like hockey and stuff like that. And then I discovered skateboarding.
How old were you when you discovered?
I think I was around 8 or something. And Yeah, it's just the basic thing. You see somebody at the schoolyard with a skateboard, and what is that thing? I want to try that, and it's like I was hooked immediately.
Yeah.
I needed to have one, and of course, my mom wouldn't let me buy one because it's so dangerous.
Right.
So then I secretly had to go skate my friend's skateboard, and I was bugging my mom for ages to get myself one, and like eventually, like she gave up, and I got the skateboard, and that's
Hell yeah.
kind of like. That's been the guideline of my life from that point. So I don't know where I would be without skateboarding.
So this is the mid 80s when you first get your skateboard?
Oh, it was 1987.
87.
So late
80s. Roughly
late
where
80s. It was just when the skateboarding was really booming. It's really huge
Yeah.
at that time, and it was big all over the world until it collapsed in early 90s.
Yeah, I guess it did. The late 80s, man. I it's even before my time skating. What kind of board were you riding? Like big fat boards or, street skating, bowl skating? Like what kind of stuff?
Yeah, at that time, actually the first one I bought, it was more like a cruiser or it would be like a slalom board. And it was one with soft wheels. But usually the cheap boards you would buy were ones with the really hard wheels, that kind of plasticky, like soapy wheels, and it doesn't roll very well, and it's just slippery as hell. And so that board was a little bit better, kind of. And then, of course, from that, I went into a little bit better board, like a normal board at that age, and then eventually got a pro board. Like first one was Mike McGill.
Okay, McGill.
Yeah, Mike McGill Mini with the
No way. Who was he riding for?
Paul Peralta.
Dude, no way. I think he represents Adidas now. He works for Adidas, and I met him just like on a trip because I worked like, the DOS Days events when they come through, and he is in some position at Portland. That's so funny. Yeah. And he was just chill. He was a really chill guy.
Yeah.
Mike McGill. Too funny.
Yeah. So it's like getting the first proper board was so good. Like you could learn the tricks properly because it's like the cheap ones don't really work well. So
yeah, I'm trying to think back. I mean, the first board that I ever got, totally like a hand-me-down, kind of a piece of crap. And I was like 6 years old. My au pair, she like had a nephew who gave me a board. It was a 5-burrow board with God knows what kind of trucks and wheels and bearings. I have no idea, but I just know it was like mid 90s. I get my first skateboard. And the nose and tail were completely like chipped and razor tailed up. But I remember it had like super iconic graphic of, what was it? I don't know if you remember 5-burrow, but they had like the church series with like the people praying on them. I don't know. For me, it's so iconic because it was my first board. Do you remember what did you just say what the graphic on your first board was? Or
it was the Skull and Snake.
Skull and Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like real 80s right there. Yeah. So, yeah, Lucas told me that you had like super supportive parents growing up skating.
Oh, yeah. After the first fight about getting a skateboard.
Of course. As soon as you get past that first fight, I think parents tend to get really supportive when they see how much their kids love it.
Yeah. And then they realize that you're doing something like which is not doing bad things around the city. So it's like you're doing something creative and like kind of like athletic in a sense as well.
Yeah, I think it's super special in the sense that it's creative and athletic. I've always been so psyched because like you're always working out, you're always physically active, and at the same time you have the opportunity to be an individual and create something that's so unique that only you have done.
Yeah.
I think that's super special.
I think it's the best combination.
Yeah. So you're skating mostly parks in Finland, or because like let's not forget how cold it gets in Finland, right? Your winters are intense. Like you guys lose a lot of daylight. Is that true? Like tell me about that.
Yeah. It depends of course on part of the country where you live, but still like the days are really short. You got sunlight maybe 5-6 hours a day or so. So it's basically you go to school, it's dark, you get out of school, it's dark. And at that time was skating basically just loading docks.
Really? Skating loading docks?
Yeah.
Like wooden loading? Oh, loading docks more like so you have like trucks loading.
Yeah. Behind the post office, it was the only place where we could skate in wintertime. And I have photos from that time, and it's like thinking back about that now, it's like how could we do that? It's so cold, like minus 15 degrees, and you're just like freezing. But then again, you're just so stoked about skateboarding that you don't care. And now it's like, if it's below, like, I don't know, plus 15, I'm already like, let's go to the indoor. Like, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, I think the first few winters, I can't really remember if I didn't really skate that much first winters, but then I started skating like with my friends at some loading docks, and then it developed from there to skating in my parents' basement.
Really?
Because because we had a big like basement room, like I would say 50 meters by 5 meters.
Wow.
So it was kind of became like a local skate park actually.
No way.
So we built some ramps there. And we just skated there all winter, and like all my friends would come over, and even though if I was not home, they would come over and skate and chill at our place, and like it was kind of like a meeting spot for local skaters, and they're like second home.
No way.
But of course the scene was really small. We were like, at that time it was like early 90s, so we were probably like 5-6 skaters in the town.
No way.
So I still wonder how they could like live with that, like people skating downstairs, you hearing the noise all days, like after school until 9. It was the only rule that 9 o'clock in the evening skating stops.
God bless your parents.
So,
man.
but yeah, you always know that kids are home and not doing anything nasty. So it was kind of safe in a sense, like, you know, they always did what we are up to.
I think that's so important. So many communities need a skate park, need a place for kind of like, I don't know, semi outcasts, a place that they can go and, you know, be safe. Because right now, if you're skating, a lot of kids, they grow up skating in the streets, and I love that. I think that's awesome. But at the same time, if you have a skate park, it will really like develop a sense of community. Like it sounds like you guys did at your place.
Yeah, and you meet up with people you wouldn't meet up otherwise, especially in bigger cities. But in our small town, of course, like, you know, the skaters and they are just this handful of people. So
definitely, yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of anyway, you would hang out with these people, but it's still, you need a place to skate, and
definitely
that was perfect. And of course, then we had outdoor skate park, and the city built, like, first they built a mini ramp and some kind of fun box. And of course, they were not the best ones. So ended up after a few summers, we customized them. And so it became just complete like DIY skate park after a while. And we were lucky because like some of the dads of our crew they were running some companies, and they had access to materials like some scrap wood that's actually like really good quality, but it's like scrap from the harbor.
Oh, okay.
So we would get that for free, and we could build ramps and like we made a really good skate park out of that, and changing it a little bit every year. And you know, it's been always like DIY.
Dude, that's so awesome to have that like community coming together and building something. I think that's something that I missed out a little bit in my childhood. Like, I grew up in Long Island, and we're only 40 minutes away from New York City. So I did get to skate, you know, some awesome parks, public parks, but there was like nothing in my hometown. Like the closest thing was 40 minutes to the west in New York City, and then about 40 minutes to the east, there was this skate park. I was super lucky. I got to go to Woodward every summer, though. That was like a dream for me to be able to go do that kind of stuff. Oh man,
that would have been like, I saw that on Thrasher, and it's like, oh, if I could go there someday. But of course, like from Finland, you don't go there, especially at that time of like world, like early 90s. It would be unheard of that you would go to Woodward from Finland.
Dude.
But that would have been so amazing.
Thinking back, Woodward was a big part of my childhood. The first year I went there, it must have, I think I was in middle school. Yeah, no, I was in middle school, first year of middle school. So I must have been like, I don't even know, 13, 12. Anyways, the first year that I went there, they let kids stay out until 11 o'clock at night, which seems super late. Now, even thinking back, go skate, do whatever you want. I was such like I would say a loner in the sense, like everyone would go to camp, like making friends and, you know, making friends where you have pen pals and you stay in touch. Like I did not care. Like I didn't have access to skate parks back in Long Island. So when I went, all I wanted to do was skate mini ramp every single day.
Yeah.
I swear, like, I don't know if you've ever seen photos of the mini ramp section. It's called the Playground, Woodward East. It's at the time was the biggest mini ramp in the world in terms of length, with like a death box and like a spine section and like a 7-foot vert wall section. And dude, this was the most amazing thing I've ever seen to this day. Even in my life, I have such fond memories of that park, dude. I would go there and just do rock and rolls all day long. I didn't even care about progressing. I was skating by myself. I didn't have many other influences. All I wanted to do, skate, rock and rolls, 50-50s. Eventually, I'm going to go on a little tangent now. Shout out to Pierce, Wyatt, and Jed. We were at camp one year, and Mateo also. They entered me into this mini ramp contest without me knowing. And it was beginner. And I was like, man, I don't know. I was in middle school. It was one of the first years we were going. And without me knowing, they called my name. All of a sudden, I skate. I had lines worked out, like at 50-50, the death box. I blunt to fakie, like grab in. I remember early grab on like the extension section. And dude, I did the line like perfect twice out of my 3 runs. And I got first. It was the only contest I've gotten first. I don't think I've even really entered. I may have entered some other stuff.
Yeah, but that's actually kind of good. Like you don't have to stress about it because you don't know you're entering.
Exactly. I think that's why all of a sudden my name was called and I was like, oh, I guess this is happening. And yeah, man, that's one of my favorite memories like of skating ever. And something I actually forget about often. Yeah, pretty crazy. I got a Tony Hawk birdhouse board it wasn't Tony Hawk actually. It was a birdhouse board. It was super interesting. It had, the material was felt at the bottom. I've never seen this even to this day. Do you remember Crux actually had that too? Crux had these trucks that you could get, Crux, the brand that were velvet, like to the touch.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, skateboarding has gone through some interesting phases. Anyways, I digress. I want to get back to your story growing up in Finland. Yeah, man. You were saying your family super supportive, and then eventually you start to even like press your own decks. How did that come about?
Well, that was like around mid-90s, and boards were super expensive at that time because like Finland just went through like a depression, and like USD was really high compared to Finnish mark at that time.
Okay.
So it would cost like a board would cost like 650 Finnish marks, which is I would say in euros, it's like 120 euros. So it's
Jesus.
like 140,
Double the price.
130 US or something.
Yeah.
Almost for a board.
Way more than double the price of what a board in the mid 90s, because boards were going for like what? 45, 40, 50 US dollars in the States. Like,
yeah. So it was super expensive. So then we had an idea that we're going to try to make boards with our crew. And it kind of just like we figured out how we could make some kind of press that we could use, and just trying different materials, different glues, different things, and just like a lot of trial and error, what works, what doesn't, and then eventually like you found the golden formula that's working for boards. And
wow. And how old were you when you were doing this?
Oh, I think I was like around 15 at that time. And yeah, we found the golden formula, which was like using maple veneer, of course, that you're supposed to use in a skateboard, like a Canadian cut maple veneer. And the thing is, it's cut, it's not like ground. So it's much better quality. And then using epoxy glue.
Wow. And
those boards were so good. Like I still remember that they are the best boards I ever ridden. So I'm thinking actually we have this one press still somewhere in the basement. So I think I should try to make some boards when I move back to Finland, just to try if they really were so good, or if it's just like golden memories,
or if it's just nostalgia.
Yeah. So the idea was kind of like getting boards for cheaper. So then like a couple of dads of the crew chipped in. They both bought us one set of veneer. And then my dad was working at the shipyard, so he could get epoxy from there because they were making some warships at that time.
Wow.
And they were getting like a whole like tank trucks full of that stuff. So if he gets 20 liters, like it's
not much just to take a little off the top, or like with the scrap, as you said, like because they have to cut the wood. That's actually super interesting. Building ships for warships, and they would use wood for that.
No. Wood was just from like a wood shop, but we got the glue from the shipyard.
Okay.
So yeah, it worked really well. And then the thing was that when we started doing it as a small company, not like an official company, but just like this, like
selling them.
Yeah, selling them, having a brand and selling them to friends. And back then, of course, there was no internet at that time. Well, there was, but it was like nothing. Nobody used internet really. Yeah. So we just made flyers. We were handing those out at skate contests, and then actually selling the boards, and it's like so it was kind of like every time you make 3 boards for sale, you get 1 free for yourself. So it worked really well. Like everybody was doing boards and got like enough boards to skate on. Yeah. So we just like use the money we get from the boards to buy more veneer and make more boards, and that's kind of like helped me a lot with like developing in skateboarding, because I don't have to worry about breaking a board anymore. So if I break a board, I go to the garage and make a new one.
That's so sick.
And it's like when you get the thing rolling and you sell boards every now and then, you're getting free boards. So it was perfect.
I really like the part of the story when you're saying like trial and error, learning how to build the board yourself and eventually like figuring it out. I think that probably helped you out a lot in like just past even making boards, like for your profession. Just trial and error is so important to growing as a person and learning how to do new things.
Yeah, and skateboarding is all about trial and error.
Exactly. Just even skateboarding itself, like just trying to figure out how to do a trick. When you were growing up, how do you feel that you learned new tricks? What was your process? Like, what kind of inspiration? Were you watching like VHS tapes or getting magazines? Like, what point did you get into skate culture?
Oh, it's, I got through like Thrasher. I still remember my first issue of Thrasher was number 100, 1988. And, from that, actually, like, I think I was maybe 3rd grade or something. Like, I had just started English classes at school. So, but then I get Thrasher, and it's like, man, I need to understand what they say in this magazine. So I'm reading through Thrasher with the dictionary, checking every word that I don't know. I'm checking from the dictionary. So it's like just like 6 months of reading Thrasher. So I'm way ahead of the rest of the class.
Dude, you don't know how funny that is. Guamu was on the show like 2 nights ago, and he has the exact same story with Transworld. He didn't speak English that well, but then when he got Transworld, they only make it in English.
Yeah.
Dude, that's so funny. Go on.
Yeah, and that's like you're so into this thing that you just want to know what they say. And then I remember then we had to write some essays, and then of course, like reading Thrasher, you'd learn all this like kind of like street language. Then my teacher said that you cannot write like this is not proper language. And they're like, no, it's like in a magazine. It should be proper.
Oh, she has no idea what you're reading. And Thrasher back then is probably even more untamed than it is today. Like,
I don't know. Yeah, it was could have been maybe a little bit like more censored, or not like bringing out all the things like involved in skateboarding. It was not so much about like weed and alcohol like skateboarding magazines are now.
Well, that's true. Like as it was starting to go into its depression, skateboarding, maybe the magazines were trying to be even more self-censored and be politically correct to try and maintain some type of image. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but still, again, the Thrasher ethos has always been like skate and destroy. So
it has been, right? So that's what, yeah. But
it could have been like maybe I was just too young to understand really the things. Like I read the magazine, but I couldn't understand some of the concepts, like concept of weed.
Well, if you said you were in 3rd grade, right?
Yeah. So like concept
you have no idea. You don't.
The whole concept of weed was completely alien. I had no idea what that is. So I could have read that, but to not really understand what's going on.
Sure. I always, my old bosses, good friends from Push, Christian, they're from Norway. And as you just mentioned, weed. What's the drug culture like in Finland? Because in Sweden or in Norway, whole Scandinavia, I found it super interesting that it's like really looked down upon to smoke weed, to drink, to like do all these kinds of things. And I've actually found that quite interesting. So I was wondering what your experience kind of was with that kind of stuff.
Well, I think when I grew up, like weed was not really around. It was I didn't know anybody who was smoking weed actually. And then like later when you're turning 18 or 20 and so on, you see that around in skate culture and you're just like, okay. And then again, it's like the drug propaganda or the education in Finland is really tough. It's like, yeah, like you smoke weed, next thing you're going to be shooting heroin in the bushes there and being homeless. So it's kind of like, was really like criminalized in a way. So, but I think nowadays it's kind of, well, alcohol has, of course, it's been always in the Finnish culture.
Sure,
it's always
alcohol's
it's been big.
Accepted, yeah.
Finnish people are usually quite hard drinkers, but it's changing nowadays as well. Like people don't really like young people, like teenagers, 20 years old, they don't really drink so much anymore. And I think weed is kind of, it's just more accepted. It's kind of like, whatever, it's weed.
Yeah, because I was surprised, not so surprised, but like in America, it's super ingrained in our culture to kind of like go through a phase of rebellion and, you know, kids are drinking and smoking. Like that's pretty accepted throughout high school and college. But when I was talking to Christian and he grew up in Scandinavia and Norway, it was kind of like, almost everyone would look down upon the people who smoked or even drank like growing up. So I just found that super interesting. And yeah, it's cool to hear your side of the story.
Yeah, I think in Finland, it's more like drinking was kind of the norm. Like when you are 15, 16, people start drinking, going to parties and it's kind of this kind of rite of passage to adulthood kind of.
Definitely. We were getting into talking about skate contests. So I was curious, you seem kind of like a contest skater to me. Honestly, when I see you skate, you seem like you kind of just know what you're doing. Did you enter many contests growing up or?
Quite a bit. It's like, I remember there was some small contests in our little town that was set up by the local sport shop. That was the only place that was selling any skate goods. I remember, I think I got third place out of 4 people or something, and I was so nervous. I was so nervous skating that contest.
Better than 4 out of 4, eh?
Yeah. But then, like after that, I think it could have been like the Finnish championships at some point, like 13, 14 or so, and then I just like kept skating the contests every year, just going and. Yeah, I've been skating quite a lot contests. It's always fun, like go meet people and just usually the course is good. So you're skating a good skate park. And like I grew up skating skate parks. So for me, it's like the most natural kind of skating.
Yeah, you're definitely a transition skater. Like I see you're so good at mini ramp and
yeah, I grew up around that. We always had a mini ramp around. So it's kind of.
Yeah, I definitely want to see photos of your basement. You must have some.
Oh man. Could be somewhere in my parents' archives or something. But videos we do have for sure.
Videos, sure.
I think you can find something YouTube, Vimeo. I can send you a link.
That'd be great. I'll put it in the like description of this podcast on my website because I think that's so cool because it reminded me of Bam's castle that he has in Pennsylvania. Just the concept of like because even right now he talks about like my friend Shane McGrain. He even went there and just stayed for a week. It's apparently not hard to go there and just crash, do whatever you want. So I thought that was super cool that you had something set up like that back in the 80s and 90s. So sick. But yeah, so getting a little like past high school and maybe, did you go to college? Where did you go to?
Yeah, I went to University of Technology in Helsinki.
Okay, and what'd you study?
I studied product development and then some like Asian business, and I was studying in Malaysia as well. Like
you studied Asian business specifically.
Yeah, in Malaysia I studied. It's like extra minor, and then I was studying also like this what is it English term? anyway, it's like more like a finance subject. It's
Sure.
kind of like industry finance or so, something like that.
And were you skating a bunch in college as well, or
Oh yeah, I was skating a lot.
so you've never really stopped? You've always just been skating well through.
No,
your life.
it was like through college. It was more like mostly skating, and studying was the second thing, and I still pulled it through somehow.
Yeah.
So it was, and I actually never felt it was really difficult at all. It's just yeah, you just do it, and it's all good. So
Skating is like your workout, you know. It's just staying fit, kind of just like
yeah, and I skated,
secondhand.
at that time I skated a bunch because when I moved out of my parents' place after military, I went to the university.
Whoa, military.
Yeah,
You went to the military.
Oh, it's compulsory in Finland. So.
Right. That's even though I assumed it as soon as you told me, because like, why else would you go? I always find it so fascinating when other people are like, it's compulsory to go to the military, because in America, that's so unheard of. Like, you have to go to the military. People who have never left America, they would think that's a little strange. What was that experience like?
Well, it was kind of a growing up experience in a way, and it's
What age?
18.
18. For how
Yeah.
long?
I was there for 8 months, so I got out of there as quickly as possible.
Is that like the shortest time you can do? Or
Yeah, I was a van driver, so you can't get much lower than
a
that.
van driver? Was that like your choice? Tell me a little bit. Let's talk about that a little bit. Tell me about, okay, so you know what's coming. Are you just like bummed, like, oh, I got to go to the military? Or is like, are your friends like, oh man, maybe this might be cool? Like, what's the vibe like leading up to that?
Well, you have possibility. You can do military, or you can do like civil service. But the civil service, at that time you had to do for 13 months. So for me, it was not an option. Like 13 months doing something that's not interesting, and you're not getting paid really, and it's like, well, it doesn't make any sense. So I'd rather do the military, and I can still get out almost every weekend and go skate. And yeah, and it was definitely an experience. Like, you see so many people around the same age group from different backgrounds, and you understand a little bit more about how the world works and what kind of people you have. And yeah, it was interesting, but of course it was not nice all the time.
Of course it's not nice. And this is something that like I almost wish I could have experienced, is a sense of not being controlled, but like, I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for, but like you know what you're going to do every single day. Like, you create a sense, I can't even think of the word, but like you just like know what you're going to do every day.
It's kind of
direction. You get a sense of direction.
Yeah, and then you're kind of on autopilot, so you don't have to decide anything. You don't have to think. You just do.
Right.
So it's definitely there was some funny times as well, and also like some not so funny times. I like froze myself really bad twice when we're in the woods, middle of winter, and I just like froze my hands and feet so bad. I'm still like, I can't handle the cold anymore.
Oh wow.
I'm losing like feeling. They like the temperature drops below 10 degrees centigrade. I'm starting to already lose like feeling in my fingers and toes, and they're just going numb. So I can't handle the cold really anymore.
Just from that one experience?
No, just a couple of times like freezing yourself really bad. So
did you get hypothermia, or did you?
No, just like the extremities of your body get just too cold for like staying in a bunker waiting for some imaginary enemy that never comes.
Right. These are just like exercises to make you fit.
And then somebody could come and they could have like this kind of like an ambush, and so it's kind of funny playing war.
Yeah.
It was definitely an experience, and I think it's actually good I went there. It's a learning experience. Definitely.
Right. That's what I was trying to get at. Like, in the moment, it's going to seem like shit and it's going to seem terrible. But you're after even just 8 months. I mean, to be honest, I think you might have benefited from even like more 1 to 2 years of being in a situation like that. That's what I think most people should do. And something that like I like just think about it. I won't actually do it, but like I daydream about the idea of joining the military and getting some type of, like timetable in my daily life, some uniform structure, some structure into my life. That's the damn word I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Just having structure in your life. Like some guy wrote a book. I don't know what, my dad gave me the article, and it's like some things that people in the middle, like just 10 things you like every day you make your bed, no matter what, you make it perfect. And just by doing these little things like making your bed, brushing your teeth, combing your hair, if you do all of those things like perfectly and proper, it's an amazing way to start your day and create little wins throughout the day. And I don't know if you experienced that in the military, but I know for sure in the US military, that's what some of my friends say they've experienced is you have these little wins that make you more motivated to continue to kick ass throughout the rest of the day.
Yeah, I think it has a sense to it.
Yeah,
for sure.
I definitely think it's important, and why good habits can be so important to a more fulfilling, wholesome life, to just have more value and purpose, and just kind of keep moving throughout the day.
Yeah. But actually, I have to admit, I'm really bad making my bed nowadays.
Yeah, I go through phases where I'm like, I'm gonna make my bed. I'm gonna make sure my shoes are all tidy and whatnot, and then other days I'm just lazy.
Yeah. Like my wife, like she always had to do her bed when she was living at her parents' place. So when she moved out of there, it's like, I'm not gonna make my bed again. I'm just leaving it.
Somewhat of a rebellion thing.
Yeah. So it's been like that.
Okay, so we were getting into college a little bit, and you've been skating all your life. And a question that I actually came up with, thought of, like, you seem like you've been like, have you ever made money off of skateboarding, like as a pro or?
No, not really. I never was like a paid professional, but I got all the gear I could need, and I got to travel for free, and to like just go skate in different places, contests, whatever. And actually, I made my way through college with skate goods. So
like selling skate goods, or?
Yeah, I never sold a single new thing, but I sold all my used stuff. And back in the day, early 2000s, so skate stuff was still really valuable in Finland, because like a new board would cost 92 euros. So I was skating a board a week, and then it was pretty much done. Like I was skating 6 hours every day.
Wow.
So I could sell it for 40 euros. And shoes and clothing and all that, and just like making enough money on the side to support you. So
I think that's so common with skaters in general, like how crafty we can be.
Yeah.
We're all hustlers on the side. Every skater I know has a side hustle, whether it's like trying to sell old goods or have like a couple different little jobs. I think that's so common among skaters.
Yeah. You just have to make ends meet somehow. And that was like, of course, in Finland, when you're a student, you get the subsidies from the state. So you get some money.
Sure.
It's not very much. So it's just like if you buy one expensive school books, it's gone already. So so it was good to have some extra money on the side, and I didn't have to ask my parents for money, and I didn't have to really take a student loan or anything. So it was really nice. And actually, during my studies, I didn't really work in summertime.
Really?
So I was just skating.
Hell yeah.
So I just worked, I think, 1 or 2 summers during my studies, and I studied like 8 years or something. I took my time because I was mostly skating. And then I studied like one extra minor, and just had a lot more studies than I should have for graduating. But there's just so many interesting things at the university that you always find something that you want to study. And it's like, oh, I want to have that course and that course and that course. And then you just end up spending more time there.
Dude, that's awesome. That's unfortunately what I wish I did do. In university, I totally took it for granted, unfortunately. I did everything I could do just to get by. I'm ashamed of it, and I think I've grown way more as a person now. But unfortunately, I just kind of wanted to, I don't know. In America, at least this is my personal story. I didn't know what I wanted to do going into college. I didn't have a true drive for anything. But in America, I think there's so much pressure and demand to go into college directly after high school that like you're going to do it no matter what. Like you just have to do it. It's just what everyone does. Like you're an outcast, you're a loser if you don't.
Yeah.
So I do it, but if you don't know what you want to do, you're kind of like, you're dicking around. I did psychology as a major for 1 year. I really didn't like that. And then I did marketing for the rest. And like, I enjoyed the idea of marketing. I still use it in my daily life. I didn't learn nothing, but I think if I had taken a gap year of some sort, like even the military or something, it gives you a little time to become a little more cultured and give you the opportunity to find more about who you are. Because I don't think many people know who they are at age 18 when you're graduating high school and going into college.
Yeah, and that's in Finland. It's the same problem. You should go study after you graduate from high school, and then like, what do you know, like a 18-year-old kid? So yeah. But then again,
so after your story, I feel like you got a little lucky. You found what you were interested in, or you just happened to be more interested taking advantages of your resources at university.
Yeah. And there was like, actually you could spend almost the rest of your life studying interesting stuff in the university.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was, for me, it was, my dad is an engineer. My grandfather was an engineer. So it's like we're an engineering family.
Hell yeah.
So it kind of like runs in the blood. So I grew up with the technology quite a lot and building things and, just figuring stuff out. And then after this like experience of building skateboards, it was like something that really like speaks to me. So I like developing things, and I ended up going to the University of Technology and study product development. And I think it was a perfect fit. And then I studied like finance as well, and then some like Asian business. And it's been supporting me really well in everything I have done so far.
Hell yeah, man. So let's get to China. We haven't even touched China yet. So you're in Malaysia, and Lucas was telling me you're studying Malaysia, and then you somehow got invited to S&P contest. Is this your first experience going to China?
Yeah. And it was actually not S&P. It was this TV contest in Beijing called Anta X Games in 2005. And yeah, I was studying in Malaysia for 1 semester, and I made friends with this guy, Dave Bodner. He's an Australian vert pro. And he was at the time, he was living in Kuala Lumpur. He had a Malaysian girlfriend. So after I went back to Finland from there, Dave sent me an email and asked, like, would you like to go to China to skate? There's a contest and they are looking some foreigners to go skate there. Like, all expenses paid. It's like, yeah, why wouldn't I? Sign me up. So yeah, I just went there knowing nothing, and I just got the tickets by like UPS or something. I picked up the tickets and oh man, shit, it's happening. And getting a visa and flying to Beijing, and then really like knowing nothing about China.
Wow.
So yeah, I had a guy picked me up from the airport and took me to this Workers Stadium. Was staying at the hotel at Workers Stadium, and the contest was actually on the parking lot over there. So yeah, I ended up staying there. I shared a room with Morgan Campbell, Australian skater. So he was there as well. So yeah, we skated the contest there, had a good time. I remember it was really hot. It was like 38 or something. But it was not like Shanghai hot, because over here it's so humid. So it was still like tolerable.
Right.
So yeah, we had a good time skating there, and we met some of the like OGs over there. Like I met Johnny Tang first.
That's when you met
there.
Johnny Tang?
Yeah.
2005?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he was still living in Beijing at that time.
I didn't even know he was. Yeah, okay. I'm still yet to do an episode with Tang. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I met him there. I met Jeff from Fly. I met Panda, and yeah, it was a good time. And yeah, we skated there. I happened to win the contest, and was stoked on that. And then heard from the guys that, hey, actually, like in a week or so, Danny Way is going to jump over the Great Wall of China. It's like, what? Really?
And you hear this news in China.
Yeah, and I'm here, and my flight is like in 2 days or something. Like, oh, fuck that shit. I'm extending my stay.
Fuck yeah.
So I just got like a couple of extra weeks, and I stayed there. So I was street skating in Beijing with Johnny and the crew. And then ended up going with the Quicksilver guys to the Great Wall.
Because they were a big sponsor of this project, jumping over the Great Wall.
Yeah, and it's funny. It was actually like Jake Phelps was there also on the bus, and then I think Morgan told him that last week there was a contest and this guy won the contest, and Jake was like, oh, what contest was like street style, like all impossibles and shit. It's like,
This is to your face.
Yeah. So it's kind of like I'm kind of proud that I got.
So you had a Jake Phelps
Jake Phelps experience. He made fun of me.
Dude, yeah, that's legendary. That's fucking amazing to have had that.
Yeah.
And that's making it in your skate for Jake Phelps to shit on you. What type of shit is this? Fucking yeah, Jake Phelps was a weird dude.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like we heard the night before that Danny tried to jump over and he landed short, he broke his ankle.
This is what I heard too. So he did it again with a broken ankle.
Yeah, he went to the hospital. He got some cortisone shots and it was all tied up. And the next day, he just went for it.
Wow. I mean, like, when you have all that pressure around you, how are you not going to just go and do it? Like, I don't know. I don't know what it feels like to break your ankle. Thank God I've never done it, but damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, and imagine it's once in a lifetime. They are not going to set it up the next weekend or next month.
It's the Great Wall. It's fucking China, man. They're not gonna give you no second try.
Yeah, but that guy, he's a robot. He's a machine. He just went for it, and he just.
So you saw this in person?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
So it was crazy. He made a straight air over it, and then I think he did like 5 360s in a row.
Wow!
And then he tried to also do like a world's highest air on the quarter pipe there. He was just like getting so high that he couldn't land a solid one.
Just going too big.
Yeah. But then like later in the day there was after party and he was like there on crutches and completely fucked up. But
like really call it quits for a couple weeks.
Yeah. But that was an experience. It's like, some great
dude, what an amazing intro to China.
Yeah.
You get invited here to skate a contest, you win, you get heckled by Jake Phelps, and then you get to see Danny Wall jump the Great Wall, goddamn China.
Yeah, it's like all the great things happen by chance. So
man.
Actually, I never thought about it like that. It sounds better than the reality.
That's funny how, like, just thinking back, like, we tend to choose just the positive things to look back at. But, dude, that's what an amazing story.
Yeah.
That's so dope.
Yeah, so actually, like, then I went back to Finland, and then the next winter I was working on my thesis, and I got that done. I graduated the next summer, and I had nothing to do. I didn't have a job or anything. I was just skating. And then I thought, okay, I'll just write email to this like lady. I think she was like some like Chinese minister of extreme sports or something like that. I just wrote her, are you going to have a contest this year as well? Like, I would be interested. Yeah, we have a contest. We're going to send you tickets. It's like, hell yeah.
Let's go.
We're going again.
We're going again.
So yeah, I went to China the second time, and then I heard they had just opened SMP. So I asked if I could get the return ticket from Shanghai instead of Beijing. So I could go check SMP, biggest skate park in the world. So of course, like,
gotta go.
You need to go there. So I went to Beijing again, and they had the contest. It was in a different place, and I skated there, and I think I broke my truck or something, and I borrowed a board. I can't remember. Was it like, it could have been like Boss's board or somebody's.
No way.
And
shout out Boss.
And I skated with a borrowed board, and by chance I happened to win the thing again. So
legend.
So yeah, I got some money out of that, and then I bought a ticket to Shanghai. I came here, and I met the guys who I met in Beijing. I asked, okay, if I go to Shanghai, like, where should I go to meet skaters? And they're like, okay, Jeff, like Jeff didn't really speak any English at that time, but yeah, go to Jeff's shop, go to Fly, and there's this guy, this Canadian guy, Matt. he can help you, like he's helping out with the shop and so on. So came to Shanghai, got a hotel room here, and then next day went to Fly. And met up with Matt, and we chilled and had some dinner, and And then we set up, okay, next week, and we're gonna go to SMP or so. So we meet up at Fly, and we get a van to go to SMP because, of course, back then they had 4 metro lines only. So
Yeah, the Metro line didn't even go there.
yeah. So we had this kind of like illegal van with blacked out windows, and we were sitting on the ground there in
So
the back.
sketchy.
And the guy would just wait all day there for us to skate and come back. And so we were going there like it was like the OG Shanghai crew from back then. It was like Johnny Tang, it was like Brian Smith, Nate Mettler,
Wow.
Matt Morgan, then like Boss, Jeremy, all those dudes.
Sure.
So that was like 2006. So, and there was some couple of other dudes as well. Well, I can't really remember names anymore. But anyway, like I had a solid crew, and it's just in a week I made like 10 friends or something. It's like, man, I like this city. It's great. So I'm just gonna rent a room and stay until my money runs out. So yeah, I rented a room. I got a room in Shujiahui, and I stayed for a couple of months until like I had to renew my visa twice and all that. And back then it was easy. You don't even have to leave Shanghai. You just go to renew your visa, and they don't ask nothing. So it's like, it was easy. So yeah, it was great. Like weekdays, skating street, skating SMP. Shujiahui Park was a spot back then. Just like
Shujiahui Park was a spot?
Yeah.
No way. Definitely was not a spot anytime I was here.
Yeah, that's a while ago. But yeah, just like exploring the city and seeing what's going on here, skating around. I really had a good experience, good time here. And then like eventually, of course, money runs out. So I had to go back to Finland. And then I was just graduated. I had to find a job. And so I was unemployed for like, I think 4 months or so before I got a solid job. And then that spring before I started the new job, I came back to China again for a skate trip. And that's been going on like every couple of years I came here back for a skate trip. And then I had this possibility to actually come live here and work here. And so it's at the time I was working in skate business, and I was kind of getting burnt out by
in
that.
Finland.
Yeah.
Huh. What were you doing? Like you were, I think, did you say distributing?
Oh yeah, we started a company early 2000s with a couple of friends. So we started first like a distribution, and then like we had shops, and we had an online store and all that. And I think at the biggest points we have 10 stores plus web store in Finland.
Wow.
But yeah, it's kind of like it was really like was growing and shrinking and growing and shrinking, and there was so many phases in the whole thing. But then eventually, like after graduating, I was working 3 years in engineering, and then the skate company was kind of like nobody was really taking care of it, and it was gone small and all that. And I was we had some layoffs, so I didn't have work for maybe I don't know 3-4 months or so. So at that time, I was just okay. I'm just gonna go help the guys at the skate company and working there, and then thinking that this is going nowhere if nobody's really like managing this, because we had like few of my friends, like everybody had a turn at the helm, just like running it for a few years and then like eventually going to some other things, because skateboarding doesn't really make money actually.
Doesn't pay the bills all the time, no.
Yeah. So, but at that point I thought that, hey, I want to do something with this. So started working on that, and I didn't return to my engineering job. So I was running the company for like 3-4 years or something.
It's a good run though.
And yeah, we like doubled the turnover, and made like the company grew a lot and all that. But then again, you get to a point when you have kind of we had some investment in the company and all that. So it was really good time developing, growing, making new things, making interesting things. But then when you have to start like cutting cost and just like, you have to let your friends go and all that. So it becomes quite stressful. And then of course, like every month you are thinking about like, oh shit, I have this pile of bills on the table and I have to pay wages to my guys. And okay, I'm not going to pay myself. I'm just going to pay the guys so they can just have their salary. And just like it was a hustle, really, like
Damn.
trying to find ways to sell more stuff to make enough money to get by in skate business, and then like skateboarding was not really that much fun anymore because it's completely related to your work. So it's when you go skate, you don't really have time off. You are just like doing the thing that you are doing all day.
Reminding you of what you got coming
Yeah,
the office.
Yeah, so you still remember the pile of bills on the table. You're thinking about the next contest where you should set up a booth and make good sales, and then you still want to skate the contest yourself as well. And so I decided at that point it's kind of like I get kind of burnt out by that. So I thought like, okay, skateboarding is more valuable to me than being involved in skate business. And at the same time, I was given a possibility to come to China to work in like the field of engineering again. So it was like a no-brainer. It was like, okay, like I'm not really getting paid for this stuff. I lost a lot of my own money in this thing, but it was like, for me, it was like my financial university, really. Like I learned so much from that I can't be really like bitter about that at all. It was good times, definitely, like working with my friends, doing whatever we want, and like setting up brands, doing tours, doing all that. It was a lot of fun, but there is no money in that.
Yeah, dude, I went through a similar experience working at Iconics. I mean, I loved it. I loved teaching skating. I loved, the experience of working with close friends, but it does turn your love of skateboarding into a job, which it's conflicting. Like you love it and you hate it. You get to do it all the time, but then it's like, when is your off time then? It blurs the line between, when am I working and when am I not? I personally like to be able to turn it off and be like, I'm skating, I'm not working. This is what I like to do for, my love of skateboarding, not necessarily just skating for money.
Yeah. And like when I was working in engineering before, I worked at the skate company. It was like just so like you can let go after work and you just go and you just let the steam out when you skate. But it doesn't happen when you're working skateboarding, or it can be if business is good, then it's all fun and games. But it's not always gonna be good, and skate companies come and go. So now that at that point I got out of skateboarding and back to like engineering things. So I was actually much more happy about skateboarding at that point. It's just like, okay, now this is feeling good again.
Totally. Yeah. As we're almost hitting an hour. As we start to wrap up the show, I wanted to talk about your obsession with cars. I know you have a Ferrari back in Finland. So have you always been into cars, or what's that all about?
Oh, I think that kind of developed in my 20s somewhere. I wasn't always, when I was a kid, of course, every kid is into cars.
Sure.
But then, of course, I got a car when I was 18. I got a license and all of that. So I was kind of course, cars for transportation and so on. But then actually my dad had bought an Audi S3 in year 2000, which was kind of like it's like a small car that was relatively fast at the time. So then I was driving that a bit, and it was like, man, this is fun, like the car that's actually fast.
Yeah.
And then at some point my dad also, he just like, because it was relatively fast, so he liked to floor it every now and then. And he got like fined so bad that he was just like, okay, it's better that you keep this car and I'm going to take your car, so it's going to be cheaper for me. So actually I got to drive a quite nice car in my like college time.
So
and
sick.
Then as I was studying product development, I've been always interested in how you can like make things better and so on. So I ended up like playing with the car a bit, tuning it and so on, and then it just developed from there. And it kind of became an obsession.
I guess it just makes total sense. Like family of engineers, you guys love to tinker and mess around with stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like I cannot let anything like be untouched. So it's just I have to do something, and it's so it ended up like me buying, like, I was dreaming about the Nissan GTR. So at one point I was thinking that, wondering if I could actually buy one, if I could somehow handle the payments. And I was like, calculating Excel, how can I make ends meet with this thing? And then I realized that, okay, I think I can barely make it.
Yeah.
So I went, my friend was a bank manager at that time. So I went to him and asked for a loan, and he just set me up with a proper loan to get the car.
Fuck yeah.
So I just went and bought that car. And then I thought, like, this is the fastest thing ever. I don't need to tune it at all. And it's so good. And it's like 2 months later, like I'm already like bought a new exhaust, a new tune and all that. And it's like, then it's slowly, like, it's a slippery slope. So you end up like building it more and more, and you can do something better. And it's like, it's been an ongoing process now for almost next year. It can be 10 years. Yeah. I still have the car, and it's developed quite a bit since that time. So yeah, but the thing with Ferrari was that I just, by chance, I somehow saw this burnt Ferrari for sale at Copart in US. So I just tried to bid on that. And I just like, I'm just gonna test if I could possibly win this. So I barely can remember. I have one other moment when I was as nervous, and that was like just before a 230-meter bungee jump. But the other was bidding for the car. You just like middle of the night, staying awake and clicking the button like race bid. And then of course I have my top limit, because you have to put the deposit in, and that defines your like top limit.
Sure.
So eventually I just got it like, I think like $400 like under my top limit.
Oh, wow. You got lucky.
So yeah, and it was shipped to Finland, and then I spent like 6 months working on that and rebuilding it and fixing it. So
she goes now?
Yeah. But there's some electrical problems I would need to fix, but it's like, I just need to.
That's part of the love for you, though, is building it itself.
Yeah,
like making sure, like finding out the insides and, making sure it's tip top shape. And
yeah, I'm not really like so much into going a store and buying something that's ready made. I'd rather buy something that's the project and fix it myself.
Hell yeah.
And I just like last week, I bought a motorbike of my friend. He had a project that he never finished and he needed money to buy parts for another project. And I thought that, okay, well, why not? Hey, it's my last expat salary. So I would rather like buy something that I remember I bought. So I bought a 1974 Honda CB 550.
Hell yeah.
So it's what I'm going to be working on like next winter.
Yeah, you got a fun project coming up.
Yeah. So yeah, I like fixing things.
Have you ever drove a Tesla before?
I test drove a Model 3.
Really?
And it was really good car.
Yeah, because I've never drove. I'm not so much of a car guy, but I'm super interested. And a friend was saying, like, you don't know how like amazing a Tesla is. Like, all their cars seem stupid. They're just stupid. When you drive a Tesla, it's like wow, this is the real deal.
Yeah, it's quite different
because it's just like motorized or fuel-based cars, they just like they slowly build up, but electric is zoop.
Yeah,
it just
Tesla,
goes.
it's like a slingshot.
Yeah, I've never been in one. I would love to experience it, but do you have a feeling like there's the love of kind of I think it goes back to nostalgia a little. Like, if this is what we have always known what cars are to be, and that's kind of why you like muscle cars, or if you like whatever you fancy. But Teslas are so new, and electric cars are so new. What is your feeling on the whole like new age of electric vehicles?
Oh, it's gonna be interesting. I think it's like the motorhead in me says that you don't have the internal combustion engine anymore, so you're actually losing some soul and losing the sound. You're losing the tradition behind everything. But if you think back, before gas engines, they were using electric motors in cars.
I did hear about cars. They were trying to push electric for so long, and for some reason it didn't catch on.
Yeah, it's because the gas industry was growing, so they pushed really hard on like internal combustion engine cars. So
Imagine how different of a world it would be right now. If electric had won versus.
yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, so I think the cars, they will be better, they will be safer, they will be faster, and they will just like, I think we just need to wrap your head around that thing and see what's good. And it's not like the old ones are going to go anywhere. You can still use and love them.
Yeah, of course. I think they will become somewhat of a novelty. I feel like after a while, they'll probably be banned from major cities, at least.
Yeah,
I would imagine that could happen. You know, just like combustion engines, as you said, like those will be banned. Electric vehicles will be all good. And maybe you'll only be driving like combustion engines as a novelty, like out on racetracks or, you know, in the Midwest when you need to go very long distances and kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, or it could be like you can register it as like a hobby vehicle or something.
Yeah.
So you could like ride it on weekends or so. But yeah, let's see. It's going to be interesting. Interesting to see. And yeah, I was thinking like my grandma, she's like some 92 or something. And like amazing what she has seen through her life, you know. Imagine like when she was born, like all they had was horses and all that, and like now we have everything. So
yeah,
and she's still on point. Like she's using email and internet and Facebook and all that. Like being over 90 years old, that's amazing.
Dude, what do you think is going to be going on when we're 92? That's something to think about.
I hope we're going to still be here.
Yeah, man, me too. What do you think you're going to miss most about Shanghai now that you're leaving?
Oh, well, of course, the people. Because I have so many good friends here. I love the crew. I like the kind of tight-knit community of skateboarders and like expats in general. And the food is, of course, amazing. You can find anything in the city.
Definitely.
The skateboarding, the spots, the street skating, and the weather. If you compare to Finland, it's only cold.
People complain about the weather here, but I think they would take this weather over Finland weather for sure.
It's only cold for 3 months, and that's like you have 2 holidays during that time, really. So
yeah, you can leave if you want to.
Yeah. So it's been the best. Like we always used to go on a holiday, like 2 weeks on Christmas and like 1.5 weeks during Chinese New Year, going to some warm place to just shorten the cold time here.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
Yeah, always looking at the brighter side of things, Juhani.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, man. You're going to be missed. You're one of the few expats that actually, so let me rephrase. You're one of the many expats that are leaving, but you're definitely one of the few who does not want to leave. A lot of people are leaving because they're like bummed on the times, like they feel like it's changing. They're not so hyped. But yeah, man. So you're going, and this isn't exactly like you're being relocated to a new office, or?
Well, now I'm moving back to Helsinki, and I'm mostly gonna be working from home and visiting because our headquarters is in Rauma, in the small town where I grew up. But my home base is in Helsinki, and I'm not gonna move to a small town again. It's like I've lived half of my life out of that small town, and I'm not gonna go and get stuck there again.
I feel you.
So yeah, for now, mostly I'll be traveling for now. It's like actually I'm going back to Finland on a Tuesday, and then on Sunday I have a flight back to Shanghai. So it's like I'm leaving, but I won't be gone.
Yeah, I think you'll be back more often than not.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm probably gonna be in like end of this year. Like 2/3 of my time will be spent in China.
Awesome.
But then again, it will be a lot of traveling around. So, but I'm trying to make time to like spend my weekends in Shanghai, and maybe every now and then, if possible, like spend an extra week here because I can work wherever I have internet connection. So, So yeah, I think I will be gone, but not totally gone.
Awesome, man. Juhani, thank you so much for doing this podcast. It's super, super awesome to have you over, hear about your story. Yeah, man, you're going to be back soon.
I will. I'm always back in Shanghai.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Boom. That's it. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this podcast valuable, there are many ways you can support it. You can rate and review it on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you listen. You can share it with your friends, you can blog about it, or discuss it on your own podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe to this channel and like the video, or you can support it directly. You can do this by going to my website. I'll leave a link in the description. Thank you for supporting the show. Listeners like you make it possible. Also, if you enjoyed the intro and outro music, it was made by my brother, Danny Greenberg. You can go and check out his beats at soundcloud.com/estoric. ESTORIC. Okay, that's it for now. Peace.